Knowing your audience, what their interests are, what their opinions are, what their preferences are, really enables you to better be able to serve them. In Element 451, with our surveys module, it really empowers your institution to gather that data and to gather those useful insights right from within your Element 451 instance. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. As you can see, this is going to be our group tour survey that we have built out within Element 451. And as we go through the top here, you'll see that we can go in and get a preview of what that looks like. We can go in to edit this survey, or we can look at the different options to share. So we can just view the public link, copy the public link. Let's say we want to take that link and put it into a campaign that we're sending out to a group of students, or we can copy an embed code and embed this survey into a web page that we currently have existing. And then show QR codes. So if you have an event going on and you want to have a QR code printed out for people to scan and give a survey on their way out of an event, or even on their way into an event, that maybe helps steer where that event's going to go once those surveys are submitted, you can do that as well right here within this survey. So you can also take a look at the responses over time as you gather those. And then down here, you'll see some settings for the survey and then the responses and when those were submitted, who they were submitted from. If you take a look at the stats, it'll kind of go through question by question on the survey and give you a look at and visualize how those questions were answered and show you this through the chart here. So as we go into editing these surveys, you'll see really how easy it is. You can change the name here. You can add the description of the event right there. And this is where you would change whether it was a linear survey or a one at a time survey. So the difference here is if it was a linear survey, the whole survey would be on one page. If it's one at a time, you're going to have one question per page. You answer the question, a new question populates on the next page. This is where you'll toggle it active or inactive and select the start and end date for the survey. And this is where you're really going to make it pretty. You're going to really doll it up here with changing the fonts, adding the images, what the opacity for the images, and changing the image background color, as well as what message is going to present once the survey is no longer available to people. If you take a look here, this is where you're going to select any survey templates that you may have. This one in particular, we aren't using a template, but let's say you're sending out a bunch of surveys, you may have a template you just want to have as your go-to. So you're not recreating the wheel every time you go in to build out one of these surveys. And then if you look down here, this is where you're going to be building the meat of your survey, the questions that are going to be answered. And so you can see going down here, we have questions like smile rating, rankings. So if you want to add another question, you would hit that plus button on the side there, and it's going to give you all the options of different questions that you can ask within the survey. So a multitude of different options for whoever's completing the survey to choose from. And so it really helps you be able to switch it up so it's not the same thing over and over and over again. So if it becomes a longer survey, you can kind of spice it up a little bit. Element 451's surveys are extremely useful in getting to know the constituents with which you are trying to engage with on a daily basis. You can really get a lot of usage out of surveys whenever you're trying to determine more information on how to communicate with your students, whether you send these out through campaigns or you have the QR code at your events. Really encourage you to utilize surveys to really dig in a little bit more and get to know the people that you are engaging with on a daily basis. So hope you enjoyed surveys. We're really excited for you to get your hands on them.